is interrupted and the weight of daily life doesn't pause for treatment. That's why today's conversation is so important. I'm honored to be joined by Becky Horn, Executive Director of Pretty in Pink Foundation, an organization that steps into the gaps that patients and families often fall through, not just with resources, but with dignity, compassion, and practical support when it's needed most. This conversation isn't about statistics or fundraising alone. It's about the real people behind the mission, the families who are held up, the caregivers who are supported, and the moments when help arrives exactly when someone is running out of options. Whether you're listening as a patient, a caregiver, an advocate, or someone who wants to understand what support really looks like in the middle of a crisis, this conversation is for you. So, with that, I want to welcome our guest, Becky Horn from Pretty in Pink, and begin a conversation about what it means to show up fully for people navigating breast cancer. So, Becky, thank you so much for taking the time to join me here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Wonderful. So, to start, I'd like to take a step back and talk about why Pretty in Pink exists. Can you share the story behind the foundation, what need it was created to meet, and who you serve today?
Yes, we were founded by Dr. Lisa Tolnich. She's a premier breast cancer surgeon in our state. She's retired now, but she, in her practice, discovered that some of her patients weren't following through with their treatment. And she started to dig around to find out why they weren't coming back in for their chemo or their radiation, and found out that they couldn't afford it. And so they were just skipping it. They were having to make the impossible decision of whether to put food on the table or go have chemo and scrape together the funds for that. So she found that to be an unacceptable situation, and at her kitchen table, with another person, mapped out a nonprofit and decided to call it Pretty in Pink Foundation. And they had a huge goal, which was to serve 10 people in Wake County. And we just finished, our calendar year here, Amanda, and in 2025, Pretty in Pink Foundation served 535 people in
Wow,
counties all across North Carolina. We've served people in 95 counties now. So that's how we got our start. We had a compassionate founder who saw a need and refused to accept this result for these people and wanted to do something about it.
that is incredible. 95 counties across North Carolina. That is, and to start from a goal of 10 people and then to expand to that number, that is just amazing.
I know. It's a very good story.
And so you had talked about the founder recognizing the gap. So how has the mission of Pretty in Pink evolved over time? What type of support does the foundation provide for women going through breast cancer?
The mission that she came up with is very specific and very succinct. It's to provide funding for breast cancer patients in North Carolina that can't afford medical treatment. So it's very local. It's North Carolina. It's very personal. It's everybody that we serve has a name and a street address in one of our communities. It's not going into some big pot somewhere that people don't know where their money's going. And it's impactful. The people that we serve have breast cancer right now and can't get access to treatment because they can't afford it. So that's why we exist. And that mission was the mission on day one, and that is still our mission. It's one of the reasons I truly enjoy working here at Pretty in Pink Foundation, because the mission is so specific. When there's five of us on the team, and when we come into work every day, we know exactly what to do because of that mission. It's go find people that have breast cancer and can't pay for their medical treatment. And so that's what we do every day. That hasn't changed. The volume, as I had said, has changed. We moved from 10 to over 500 per year, but the mission has not changed. It is still that to help breast cancer patients in North Carolina.
That is incredible. And You've with what you said, the work that you do, you come to work, you identify women who are in need. And in hearing different stories, what are some of the most common fears that women may express when they first receive diagnosis, or when they have to make that incredible decision of receiving treatment or putting food on their table?
Mhm. Our champions, the people that we serve, we call them our champions. To qualify as a champion to receive our services, a champion must be a U.S. citizen, a North Carolina resident, in active treatment for breast cancer, and earn less than 250% of the federal poverty level. So that's the population that we serve. And as applicants come to us, they fill out their application, they are invited optionally to tell their story in their application. And it's from those stories that I can answer your question. That the thing that they are most concerned about, of course, now we're talking about our world, the sphere of people that have breast cancer and can't afford it. In our world, their biggest fear is their financial distress. So, I'll just read you some excerpts from a couple of them here just to drive that point home. One of them, I was a full-time teacher. I could only work 12 hours a week. I'm about to lose my insurance. I have a disabled husband and daughter. Both of them depend on me. And she concludes with, I'm so stressed right now. I don't know what to do at this point. I need help.
Wow.
And I've got several like that. Here's another one that I won't read the whole thing, but she concludes with, "My financial welfare keeps me awake at night, and I'm not trying not to stress out, but it's hard not to. Any consideration will help me mentally and financially."
Oh my.
And and I'll just give you one more here. She concludes with, she's a teacher. She says, I try not to let finances stress me out, yet it's worrisome for me. I don't want this cancer to ruin me financially.
Oh my
So
gosh.
in our world, the thing that they are most concerned about is to receive life-saving treatment, they have to have financial access to it, and they don't have it. So they are worried sick about their finances. It's unfortunate that in our state, which has incredible medical facilities, that a person can be refused medical treatment. And we've had people come in our office crying that their surgery was canceled because they couldn't come up with the prepay, the down
Wow.
payment. We've had people come to us that had their chemo canceled because they had not paid for their last seating. Uh, it's it's very unfortunate that these people are putting one foot in front of the other every day, trying to go to work and take care of their families, but they can't get access to treatments because they don't have the income for it. So that's why we're here, to make sure that they don't get sent to collections, or that they are not denied treatment, and that they're not financially ruined when this is all over with for them.
Wow, as a survivor myself, one thing that I've said consistently through my treatment was how thankful I was for insurance that we have and the state. And that is why I was so excited to bring you on and have a conversation with you, because the work that you do is so incredibly impactful, not only for the women going through treatment, but for their families as
Right.
well.
Right. Half the people that we serve have children at home. These are, they are affected too, of course. And, most of the people that we serve actually have jobs. They have careers like yoga instructor or photographer, a real estate agent, teachers, nurses, hairdressers. But when they don't work, they don't get paid. And when you're in treatment, it's very difficult to keep working. So they find themselves many in this temporary situation where they can't work, their income is stopped, and now they can't pay for their life-saving medical treatment. And we pay for surgery, we pay for chemo, and radiation. We pay insurance copays and premiums. Whatever the financial barrier to care is, we take that off the table for our champions so that they can mentally focus on their healthcare journey and getting well. They're extremely important people in our communities, and I mentioned those jobs. They're all those jobs serve all of us. So when we help these people get through this journey that they're on and get back on their feet and then return them to their jobs, this helps all of us in our communities in North Carolina.
Absolutely. And I love the phrase champion. I love the fact that you are turning an experience that is incredibly hard and challenging and frightening into empowering women who have overcome so much. And so, what does life beyond cancer look like? So once champions are able to complete their treatment, what does that look like? How do you see them come back and continue to serve the community or work with Pretty in Pink?
They are stay involved with us in a variety of ways after they've been through their treatment. And, the next thing that we do after, making sure that their finances are in good order is that we send them a survey, and we ask them how we did. Were we kind enough? Are we fast enough? Did we tap you into other resources that you need? Because we only pay for medical treatment. We don't pay for transportation or food or childcare, but, on our website, we have a tab for resources where we list all of our partners that help us with things like that. And so when they come through this journey and after responding to that survey, many of the people that we serve then have returned to their jobs and they actually become donors or
Wow.
or they become volunteers and they speak on our behalf at events. You heard me say that there's only 5 of us, and we've served hundreds of patients a year all across 100 counties in North Carolina. We can't be everywhere. So we call on our volunteers, and many of them are champions, former champions, to go on our behalf because they can speak from the heart about their personal situation and who we are and how we help them through this very difficult time in their life.
That's incredible. And so, with the stories that you hear when it comes to, bringing maybe awareness, um, what misconceptions, if any, about breast cancer or survivorship would you most like to change, or at least have a conversation about?
Well, there's probably a couple of messages that I would really like to get out there and highlight if I possibly could. And one is that in America, 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer, and of course that's true in North Carolina too. So there's this misconception I think among women that if you don't have a family history, you have nothing to worry about. Well, that is simply not the case because everybody's family history started with somebody. And in in North Carolina, 85% of the people diagnosed with breast cancer are starting their family history. They have no history of breast cancer in their family. So one of the messages I would really like to get across to your audience here is that just because you don't have a family history doesn't mean you're not susceptible to breast cancer. Breast cancer is a mean, insidious disease. It doesn't care about your age, your ethnicity, your health. I can't tell you how many people have come across our doorsteps here and said, I work out every day. I eat incredibly well. I can't believe this happened to me. But it does happen. So that's certainly one message, and another one would be get your mammograms because, in our amazing state, I mentioned all our medical facilities, they are our average of survival is higher than the national average. With
Wow.
early detection and treatment in North Carolina, a breast cancer patient has a 98% chance of survival. And,
Wow.
that's worth repeating, a 98% chance of survival, but it starts with early detection, and early detection means a mammogram. So as soon as your doctor says you're eligible for a mammogram, go get it. That's your baseline, and then every year, go get it again, so that you will be on top of it if you're one of the 1 in 8 that does get breast cancer. And then you have a tremendous opportunity to survive this because of that early detection and treatment in our state.
Amazing. Absolutely worth repeating and shouting that early detection is key.
It is.
And so with the work that you do, a small but mighty team of 5, a network of champions, how can individuals both in North Carolina and beyond support Pretty in Pink's mission, even if they haven't been personally affected?
That's a really good point. Our donors are such an incredible, compassionate group of people because they are giving to a cause that goes to people that they will likely never meet. They are strangers, but it speaks to the compassion of people in North Carolina. Sorry, this is very hard for me to get out. The compassion is amazing in our state and the care that they want to give these people. So, I can't thank our donors enough. So, if you're considering the work that we do and this mission resonates with you, there are various ways to get involved. Of course, donating because our commodity is paying bills. We pay medical bills, that means you need money. So, we do that, and we also have a Beyond the Ribbon program where we put together, comfort care bags for our champions that include blankets and, seatbelt, pillows and eye pillows, um, and things to do when you're in chemo, puzzles and it also includes some makeup and things like that. So, putting those bags together is a great volunteer opportunity, and writing notes for them and putting them in those bags, saying, "You got this, and we're thinking about you." So, volunteers, if it's not monetary, they could help volunteer in that way. Or if you're in a business, maybe your business matches donations. And if you're in a company that does that, try to give through that program so that you can double your impact. And then we have two major events that we actually host during the year. One is Pink Pumps and Bow Ties, a gala that, is held in Raleigh, and another is Triple Crown Casino Night that's held in Winston-Salem. That if you have a chance to, sponsor either of those events, that would be outstanding. Or just as a business, many businesses, in fact, this past year, 160 businesses across North Carolina held events on our behalf. They
Wow.
had a day of giving or X% from this breast cancer awareness month went to Pretty in Pink, or someone held a fashion show or did a raffle or, there's all kinds of ways, and we can help you think about those if you'd like to consider something like that. So those are the main ways to get involved with us.
That's wonderful. And I will say I personally have attended 2 of the galas now, and they are so well run and so
Mhm.
incredibly inspirational to hear from doctors, from survivors, and to be part of a community, especially as a survivor, to know that there are people out there who are willing to champion and willing to support you.
Well, we are extremely grateful for that. When I think about all these stories that come in, we get about 15 of them a month, 15 to 20, and each one of them has their story. We read them here. They're so personal about, I'm a registered nurse. I just completed my last round of chemo. My husband just started his passion of photography, and now he has to take care of the household and me, and our income has stopped. Or I have a catering service, but I can't deliver while I'm in my chemo. Or this was, other things that people don't think about is I'm a single parent and a teacher. I'm reading from one of these again. I'm a single parent and a teacher. My visit to the oncologist is $92. I'm supposed to see her every 2 weeks, but I can only afford to see her every 3 weeks.
Wow.
When you start, watering down your treatment like that, you're starting to play Russian roulette. And, we don't think about things like this, that people might actually be denying themselves or stretching out their treatment just so that they can afford it. So I wanna thank you so much, Amanda, for letting us get this word out that there are some desperate people here in North Carolina that need our help. And again, if this mission resonates with you, please join us in this fight. We call them champions because they're fighters. So if you want to join us in this fight to give these people a fighting chance and increase their chance of survival, we would love to hear from you. And I don't know if you're going to be able to publish our website, but all of our information is there about who we are and what we do and the services that we provide. And we would love to have more people join our sphere of activity if they are willing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Becky. And in closing, what what gives you hope when you think about the women that you serve, the communities across North Carolina?
Well, I tell you, it's that 98%. We know that if we can find these people, that they have a very good chance of survival. So it drives us. And we are connected with all the medical systems in the state. All the mammography centers know about us, all the departments of health, county departments of health, because we all want the same thing. We all want these people to be found that have breast cancer. And if you can't pay for it, they send them to us. So we are part of an amazing network of medical professionals all over our state that are on the hunt for these people that if they need help and they can't afford their treatment, they know to send them to us. And we are the only nonprofit in the state with a primary mission of funding medical treatment for breast cancer patients. But we
Amazing.
stand ready to serve. It's an honor to serve them. So that's where the enjoyment comes. It's an honor to serve these people when they are found and to give them that fighting chance that all of us deserve.
And so, if someone who's newly diagnosed or a caregiver were to listen, what message would you want them to hear? What would you want them to know, and what would you want them to do?
I would want them to go to our website, prettyandpinkfoundation.org, and look at our application. And if they qualify, send it in. If they know anybody to send it in, or fill it out on their behalf, or send it to the patient navigator. We work with a lot of patient navigators and financial navigators in the medical systems. Send our information to them and let them help you if you have been recently diagnosed, understand if you qualify for our services. It's very simple. It's U.S. citizen, North Carolina resident, in active treatment for breast cancer, and you make X amount of money. And it depends on the size of your family. And it's printed right there on our website. So I would want them to go there and find out if they qualify and also look at these other resources that we have that will pay for transportation, pay for food, pay for childcare, all the things that we don't do. We have a comprehensive group of entities there that can help these people.
Amazing. Well, Becky, before we close, any final thoughts? Anything else? Thank you for the work that you do for showing up for survivors, and anything else you'd like for our community to hear?
It's really just that if you know anyone that has gotten a diagnosis of breast cancer, if you suspect that they can't pay for it or that you hear them stretching out their treatment or something like that, encourage them to come find us. Give them our website. It's prettyandpinkfoundation.org. Get that message out to them so that they don't suffer unnecessarily and have that fighting chance that they deserve.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Of course. And so, as we close, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the heart of what we've talked about today. Breast cancer doesn't pause life. Bills still arrive, work still needs to happen, families still have to function, often while fear and uncertainty are taking up most of the room. And what makes organizations like Pretty and Pink Foundation so essential is that they understand this reality. They don't just offer support, they meet people where they are, in the middle of treatment, stress, and very real financial strain. And so, to Becky, thank you to you and the team for the work you do and for the compassion behind it. You're showing up for people during one of the most vulnerable seasons of their lives. And that kind of presence matters more than words can ever fully capture. So, if you're listening and you or someone you love is navigating breast cancer, know this: you are not meant to carry it alone. and help exists. If you're listening as someone who wants to make a difference, this is what impact looks like: quiet, steady, and deeply human. So, thank you for being part of this conversation. Thank you for listening. And until next time, take care of yourself and of each other.
Thank you, Amanda. This is great.